Hi, I have a little motivation that I want to lay out for a specific group of people, and by the title you've probably seen this already. I'm uploading this as a separate one-off video. I miss this style of YouTube videos because this is part of like what I grew up on. Some of my favorite YouTubers when I was younger, plopping down in a chair, on the floor, in the bed, in the car, whatever, and just talking and leaving me with some substance or something that was real, raw, in a moment. Like sometimes it's just nice to have those types of videos. I know we love well curated content these days and full-on productions, but I also think that it's so nice to have something just in the moment. So I don't want to get too deep into like my explanation of why I'm doing this. I was just compelled. I've been running these thoughts through my head for the past 30 minutes, and I was like, let me go ahead and record this because I'm pretty sure that I am not the only person who either feels this way or is working through these thoughts or this process. As a mom, as a mid-20s woman who is aspiring to be a content creator, and I'm no longer using the word aspiring. It's something that I've been working on actually, because at this point, like, I'm a content creator. Has my career like developed and fully you know, built itself out the way that I believe that it will in the future? No, I still have tons of work to do. I still have tons of growth, tons of things that I need to learn and progress through, lessons and all of those things. However, I don't want to say aspiring because I believe that I'm in it. You know, I'm in the idea, I'm in the dream, but I still have so much work to do. So that's like number one is don't like downplay what it is that you're doing. Don't say, oh, like I hope to be there, or I'm aspiring to be there, or just downplaying it. If you're already in it and you're already doing it and you've actually like seen things, and I know it's so important for us to be humble, and but whatever you are, you know, aspiring to do that and put your title to yourself. There's nothing wrong with establishing yourself as being something. And that brings on just a whole nother topic that I just have in my mind right now, but I can't get into that. I want to stick to one thing. This is for I'm speaking specifically to moms, because let me tell you something. For me personally, I recognize that content creation has an interesting tie to my younger self and healing some of the things that bruised her, like healing her from some of the things and experiences that bruised her, a lot of them being social experiences, friend groups, relationship wise, school activity, like just different social things that happened to me that bruised my my self-esteem, that bruised my confidence and like my speech and my confidence and feeling of ability to do things, and also bruised like how I felt in some situations where I was put on display for the benefit of others. I was put on display for the benefit of others, and just different things that happened over my life. I will not get into them, but I'm pretty sure that you guys can relate to those things. Just social things that happen, normal things that happen to children most often, especially events that you can imagine that happen during the school age, early school years, high school, and then that transitioned over into college. Things that I constantly saw play out in my social life that really bruised me and bruised the person that I was earlier on, or the child that I was, the teen, preteen, young adult that I was. It really did bruise me. And so I realized that creating content for me is a hobby, but it's also a part of my healing, and it has always been something that I can go to when I didn't feel secure in those social areas, or in relationships, or in whatever setting it was that I was in. I didn't feel secure in my confidence or my voice, or just how people perceived me, and this feeling that I had to shrink myself or accommodate their feelings and how they wanted to see me be displayed for their purpose. I know that's a mouthful and that's a lot to say, but I also find that a lot of young women, I think this is why, this is the beauty in content. We get to a place where, yes, we start to conform a little bit, and we try to, like, you know, you see your favorite YouTubers and you see their success and you're like, okay, if I do the makeup video this way, then that'll get me what I want. But I think on everyone's healing journey, it doesn't happen at the same time. It doesn't happen at the same, especially healing your inner child and healing your younger self. It doesn't happen all at the same time, and it's not always consistent. Like, everybody's journey to perfection or improvement of life is not consistently the same. I'm getting at that everyone's process is different, but there comes a point when you're creating content, or you fully, you know, immerse yourself and you're like, okay, I'm going to be a content creator, or I'm just going to create content in general. You recognize the importance of, like, the only way I'm going to enjoy this fully and be able to really, like, glean myself into it is if I do it as real and as raw as myself as I possibly can be. And even if I don't know myself, if I at least am real in the process of trying to understand and figure out myself, then it will be more enjoyable versus me trying to mimic her or mimic this person, because again, their journey is their own journey. I think that's important to call out. I think we see so many people being content creators, and yes, there is a handful of people who naturally just want to be a content creator because they feel like that's the job for them, or, you know, they want to do it. Everyone wants to do it for different reasons, but there is a group of people, a very special group of people, who want to be content creators because they genuinely feel like, or not genuinely feel like, they know in their heart of hearts, they've had a conversation with God, and this is their calling. This is what's been placed on their life. They have something to say. They have something to show. They have motivation to exude. They have somebody else. They know deep down that somebody else is healing. Somebody else is learning. Somebody else's safety and security and voice and improvement and self and reflect. They know that there is somebody else tied to their obedience to be a creator and to create all types of different things, you know. It doesn't necessarily have to be just this beauty or like anything like that. I'm speaking in a general sense. And so knowing that message, I want to speak really quick specifically to young women, like myself. Maybe you're like mid-20s, early 30s. You also grew up in that era when YouTube was first popping, and maybe you were not necessarily like the person who was always the in crowd. You kind of utilized certain things like reading, or you were big on like watching, you know, YouTube videos, or you were just in a different, you were just in a lane of your own, and your lane was not always accepted, and so you kind of gleaned to content creating or to content in general. I say YouTube because I feel like that's where everybody started. YouTube was social media before, you know, YouTube was our outlet before anything, before any of the other platforms. YouTube was it. And so I want to speak to you because there is something that I have to say. I've talked to 4 different people over the last week about creating content. And some of them were mothers, some of them wives, some of them work in an office, some of them work from home, some of them have businesses, some of them don't. And we all kind of came to some of the same consensus that, like, you know, I want to create content, but, you know, I don't look like the other people, or I don't have the same message as the other people. Or am I going to be perceived or received the same as the other people because this is what people like? And my response was, remember that same point that I just made. There is somebody tied to your content. There is somebody out there already that needs your content. There's somebody out there already that needs to hear your story. They need to see you work through life to motivate them to work through life because you have similarities. They need to see what it's like for you to be the business owner, specifically you, because there's something about you that is tied to their healing, their journey forward, their movement forward, you know, their chance. There's something specific about you. The other portion of that, aside from those conversations that I had that just happened over time, is the portion of feeling like you can't be a mom content creator. And I'm speaking specifically, now we've transitioned over into mothers a little bit. You can't be a mom content creator because, you know, you don't have an aesthetic life, or, you know, things are not don't look the same as some of the things that we see, you know, down our timeline or our feed. And for me personally, I see a wide array of different types of content, and I think that's just because I make it a mission, and I make it well known to my app's algorithms that I actually would like to see a diverse, you know, set of content. I don't want to just see, you know, I don't want to just see I don't even like to point out the aesthetics of it, because I also don't want a mom to feel like just because where you are now is not aesthetic, and you're almost trying to like make, you know, what you have feel normal, and it is 100%, 1000% normal. But I also don't want us to ever make a mom or a woman feel bad because they are pointing out that where they are now is not aesthetic, or is not, you know, what is like the new normal on social platforms, that you don't have the right to dream of getting to that place. I think sometimes we try to separate the two, and we're like the aesthetic, you know, women over here, the non-aesthetic women over here. And if there's ever a woman who's in this non-aesthetic category that you slowly start to see transition over, then we get upset, you know, or we start to like shame her, or we try to make her, you know, it's like if you're in the group, you're in the group. If you're in the group, you're in the group. And the moment anybody crosses over or switches over, it's just like, how dare you, you know? I don't want us to ever make any group feel bad about having a certain, you know, having things that they worked hard for, they, you know, possess, and then having a group that are still in a place where they've worked hard for it, and they have these things, but they also have aspirations to move forward. If nobody ever aspires, like, how do we move our families, move our lives forward? So you cannot be upset with a person for aspiring to do better, or to, you know, accumulate better or more. I don't want to say better, because it's not necessarily saying just because I live in a 2-bedroom and she lives in a 5-bedroom house does not differentiate better. So yeah, I just don't ever want us to make either side feel bad about that. But what I have to like recognize, okay, for me personally, I have lived in aesthetically pleasing places, and I have lived in non-aesthetically pleasing places where I am now. Most people will probably look at our apartment and just think like, this is not aesthetically pleasing at all. This is actually probably the most aesthetically pleasing to the world's eye. This is probably the least aesthetically pleasing place that I have ever lived. And me personally, I love our little apartment. If I'm comfortable with it, that's the difference. So that's what people might think. And so to the mom who, like myself, you might not, you know, have, you know, marble countertops, and, you know, what the world would see as acceptable, and the things that you see that could possibly hinder your content, I'm here to tell you that that is the complete opposite. And just because, you know, the rooms aren't fully decorated, or like, what matters is like, you know, you're caring for your apartment, you're caring for your things, you're showing how you know, make your home a place of love, a place of enjoyment for your family, a place of enjoyment for yourself, self-care, like living, how you just operate on day to day. Those are the things that matter, versus like whether or not you have a certain type of flooring, or a certain type of couch, or a certain type of bed. Aspiring to get something different is no problem, but don't ever feel bad for what it is that you have. I can tell you now that I've created some of my absolute best content in this apartment, and the apartment itself, the place itself, the car itself, the clothes itself, whether or not my nails were done itself, whether or not I had a bonnet on, a wig on, or my natural hair, it did not matter. The content in this phase of life right now has been some of the best content, because it fulfilled me, and it fulfilled the person that I am healing, it fulfilled the person that I am currently, and it fulfills the person that I want to be in the future. That's what matters. It doesn't matter if you know, don't have a car, if you do have a car, if you're eating off of paper plates, if you're drinking out of a regular cup, a glass cup, a wine glass, a silver spoon or gold spoon, or a plastic spoon. That does not matter. The content, the story behind the content, the planning, the passion that you have behind the content, your heart, your words, what it is that you share, your work ethic, you know, those are the things that matter. I've gotten into a good habit of also praying over my content, because I never wanted to come off as like I want it to be motivational. I want it to be an example of a mom who is working towards a goal, who is healing herself, who also still has a hobby. Like, I'm a mother and I'm a wife, but I also have a hobby. I also have interests. Whether or not that's a business or whether that or not that's just normal everyday life, that is my goal. And so I think if you put a goal behind your content, that is what matters. To the mom that feels like she cannot create because she's simply not there yet, starting now could very well be the thing that gets you to you're there. Starting now could very well be the thing that establishes even further the things that God has already shown you. God has already shown you a vision. He is a very strategic God. When he knows that you're on the brinks of getting closer to understanding your purpose, he will begin to show you some of the things that you can have the moment you step into purpose. And it's up to you whether or not you hit the ground running. It's up to you whether or not you catch the force and you catch the motion. The moment he starts showing you things, that's when you should catch the motion. That's what he's showing you, because he wants you to jump into something. If you don't jump into something, you have to wait till it comes back around, till he shows you again. Then when he shows you again, jump into it. Don't miss it. Don't let it go by and the vision is gone and now you're trying to catch up and run up after it. No, the moment he shows you something, jump into it. Catch the motion. Catch his rhythm. He's very strategic. His rhythm, to him, his rhythm is perfect in timing. To us, it is imperfect. To a normal person, they would look and think, this is not the time for me to start creating content. This is not the time for me to write the song, to start the business. This is not the time to start the business. I don't have space. I don't have employees. I don't have enough money. I don't have whatever. But the money that you do have saved, he's telling you, if he's showing you, he's telling you start with that. The camera that you do have, the phone that you do have, the tripod that you do have, if you don't have any of that, just whatever tool that you have, if he's showing you, he's telling you to start jumping into the vision with that. You have to start somewhere. So I don't want you to ever get too caught up in what the world views as perfection to start something, to think that you have to start it. And I use content creation because that is what I feel as though God has put over me to exude my calling and my purpose. But yours might be something else. Like I said, a business, a song, a fashion line, art, music. You might be the mother to write the book about how to be the mother, okay? Whatever it is that you feel like you have been called to do, don't wait to jump into it. The moment he shows you, jump into it. You might not feel like the placement, you might not feel like it's right now. You might not. But if he's showing it to you, he's showing you what jumping into it, when he's giving you the rhythm, when he's giving you the motion, what it can look like. Don't miss it. And don't feel like you're not capable where you are right now. You are capable. And don't overthink it as well. We try to overthink it and think that there has to be this large, top tier HBO production. The beauty of being able to watch our favorite creators evolve is them starting where they are now and letting it just be what it is. If you're a stay-at-home mom and your day consists of wiping noses and changing diapers and cooking, nutritious meals for your family, or cooking meals in general, doing the laundry, taking the kids for a walk into the park, that is your day. Let that be your day. We want to see that. We want to hear you talk about it. We want to hear you motivate us through it. We want to hear you motivate yourself through it. We want to get examples of how to interact with our children as stay-at-home moms. If you're a working mom, same thing. We want to see what that is like. Those are the things that are helping people. Those are the things and the lessons and the parts that are tied to somebody else's benefit. I want to be a benefit to the kingdom. I want to be a benefit to other people, and I want to be use my content to be a benefit in those ways. But just be mindful of all those things. Like, it does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be perfect. I promise you it doesn't. And with every stage of life, the most important thing is that you are being able to be used, exude your gift, exude whatever messages and whatever you have to say, whatever interests you have, whatever passions you have. All those things are the things that matter. Hopefully this quick little video helped. I have so much more that I could say, but I don't want to make it too long, and I just want to upload it as is. Hopefully this will help you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you are a mom and you are a content creator, babe, you got this. And it might not look amazing now in your eyes, but to God it's amazing as long as you're using your gift. Y'all stay blessed, and I can't wait to see what you create.